There are already players all over the place within the House and Senate both are very proactive in undoing what the FCC did on December 21st. You have the chairman of the House Energy and Commerce Committee, the relevant committee to the FCC, Fred Upton, saying the magic acronym, CRA, Congressional Review Act, the day of the vote or the day after. So too did Kay Bailey Hutchinson, the ranking member of the relevant committee in the Senate. She also said Congressional Review Act. Going forward, the Congressional Review Act is a way to check rogue agencies and departments and et cetera, in the executive branch. What it says is within 60 days of a order being filed by an agency, the House does a simple majority vote. And if it passes, it goes to the Senate. In the Senate, you need 30 petition signatures from the senators. That gets it on the floor. It can't be filibustered because you have to do it within 60 days. So because of the compressed time frame, no filibuster. You need 51 votes, not 47. With regard to the FCC Congressional Review Act, what we're looking at is 47 Republicans, 46 of whom are pretty solid. We're pretty sure. Olympia Snowe was bad on net neutrality, but she's kind of backed off on that position. The question will be, what did she have for breakfast that morning when she has to vote? But anyway, that puts 4 or 5 Democrats on whether or not it will get passed. So then the question becomes, there's 23 Democrats up for re-election in 2012. Like John Tester in Montana. It will be very difficult for John Tester in Montana to go back to his Montana voting block and say, I just voted to maintain a FCC power grab. How does that grab you? So I think you actually can put it past, get to 51 and go to the president for a signature or a veto. But the point is, I think the Congressional Review Act is going to get a workout in the next 2 years. I think one of the, speaking of the constitutional tethering and mooring, I think it's great that every bill now that is filed in the House has to have an attending sheet that says, okay, this is the part of the Constitution from which I derive the authority to offer this bill, and where this bill gets the constitutional authority to be proposed, be debated, be voted upon, and be passed into law. I think we were 15 steps removed from that on December 21st. We had, as you mentioned, Henry Waxman float a bill 2 days before everyone left town and said, okay, in 36 hours we didn't get any Republicans, so we're out of here. FCC, do your worst. This is a member of the same party that went 9 months without a single Republican on health care and forced it through anyway. That schizophrenia bothers me. But I think going forward now, if you have the elected officials, the representatives of the people, talking about, okay, this is the constitutional authority from which we derive the idea to have this bill, this piece of legislation, I think that will go a long way and be applied to actions like Marsha Blackburn's bill from Tennessee to undo what the FCC did, because on top of all the other things it's also unconstitutional. So I think the constitutional fetishism we're all going to experience here going forward, and hopefully forever going forward, will be very helpful in dealing with the FCC and the enumerated powers it's supposed to have and the unenumerated powers it's not. So I think you're going to see a lot more people who respect the market. And respecting it means, and that doesn't necessarily mean understanding it, but what that means is knowing enough to know it works best when the people who know what they're doing do it, and not people in Washington doing it. And you have a lot more people that are market humble in Washington now than you did prior to November 2nd. So I think you're going to see, because of the forces that still exist and are still in the majority and still in the White House, you're not going to see a lot of advancement of the ball, unfortunately. But what you will see is a staunching of the damage that was being done almost at will in the last Congress.